All right, let's talk about self-concept. So self-concept is, according to Adler Dupree, is a set of relatively stable perceptions that each of us holds about ourselves. Okay, so let's look at this as what we're talking about. It says relatively stable. All right, so this is something that's not necessarily fixed, but it's close. For example, I currently weigh about 250. Not too ungodly long ago, about 10 years ago, I was up to about 275. I went on a diet plan. I dropped down to 167. So I was 3 whole pounds into normal BMI. I still looked at myself and thought I was fat. Pictures of me, one of my students calls it the crack Tim because I looked sick. So it's relatively stable. It sticks. It is perceptions. It's how we see ourselves. Like I said, I saw myself as fat, even though I technically wasn't. So we know what perception is, and that's how we individually see things. And the next one is holds. So that's what we retain about ourselves. So when we look at that as a whole, it's the idea of self-concept is the idea of how we see ourselves, and that it pretty much is sticky and stays that way. Now, it consists of physical characteristics, the first one being, whether I'm tall, short, fat, skinny, whatever. Social traits, and this is the idea of being an introvert or an extrovert. We don't know if you know what an introvert or extrovert is, so let's talk about that really quick. If you think of the human body like a battery, what can happen is that when we recharge or how we recharge is how it is whether you're introvert or extrovert. An extrovert is that kind of person that likes to go to the party, and they get energized going to the party. So they go to the after party, and they're wound up from the after party. So they're in the party in the parking lot after the after party. And when that's wound down finally, and they're still ramped up, they go to a Waffle House. And then they go to work the next day faded. But still, the idea is they are just like wound up because of the energy. The introvert, on the other hand, goes to the party. They enjoy, they have fun, they dance, they do whatever it is, and they're drained, and then they go home, and they have to recoup by getting energy either from their family, friends, or loved ones, or hanging out with their pets, or just spending time quiet, whatever. So when you think of an introvert or extrovert that way, you can be outgoing, but you still need your private time and still be an introvert. So just so you know, so social traits, introvert, extrovert, whether you're generous, etc. Those are all the traits that are there. We go on to social roles, whether you're a brother, sister, parent, whatever. These are things that we look at each other and we define ourselves as. We define ourselves with interests, whether you're a gamer, a hiker, or whatever. Talents. Are you particularly good at something? Or are you just smart? Do you find yourself to be smart? Are you an excellent basketball player? Are you naturally athletic? Are you whatever? These are things that we identify. And then, of course, your belief structure. Whether you're Christian, Muslim, atheist, agnostic, whatever it is. These are all things that if someone asked you, define yourself, take a second and explain who you are. These are the kind of things that self-concept actually would